Remember, this entire manga and every manga on this channel is hand-drawn by myself, and now you too can learn exactly how to make your own viral Dragon Ball mangas at www.makemanga.com, where you can learn directly from me. My mangas have got me on TV, on newspapers, and even earned me over $60,000 a month on Patreon alone. And now, you can click the link in the description and pinned comment of this video and do it yourself. You only need to see the website to see just how many thousands of you are taking this opportunity right now. And don't forget also, the next video to this Ultra Vegito series has already been made and is live now on my Patreon right now for over 4,500 of you incredible fans to watch after this. Again, links are in the pinned comment and description. Enjoy.
So you're the next weakling Chronoa has for me then. So our story continues with Ultra Vegito arriving by force into a new timeline within Elder God Chronoa's multiverse, forced to battle and recruit powerful warriors that could aid him in the upcoming tournament to decide the fate of all beings across all of creation. Across from him, a dark red foe emerging from destruction and fire. And talking to him with caution, the God Killer would let out, "I see these androids you've destroyed. What gives? In my world, they were the invaders. But it seems to me you're the one who's picked a fight with them." But the Red Warrior would just stare back, not saying a word. The same silent stance he had since Vegito first arrived. The mysterious type. I like it. Let's see you keep that up once I start breaking your bones. As the God Killer, not bothered to learn anything from this complete stranger, would just begin cracking his neck in warm-up. Getting himself then into fighting stance while still in base, smirking and saying, "You better give me a better fight than that last chick. I'll start off easy on you, Kakarot style." As with that, sensing internally this would be a somewhat interesting foe, Vegito would rush in and with a smile on his face. The mysterious warrior just reacting with gritted teeth and his blood-red eyes not missing a beat of Vegito's actions. Looks like I've got the big guy angry. Perfect. But this would only serve to excite Vegito even further, continuing on until in a sudden change of pace, causing him to stop in the spot by his own accord, all Vegito would see before him was complete darkness. A shadow now all over his body as he would wonder in confusion. An illusion? Or did he take me somewhere else? Wait, no. This is... this freak! As soon it would be revealed, this darkness was no change in location, but the gaping giant mouth of the mysterious red foe. His head in an instantly enlarged to a ludicrously oversized size. Teeth bared, ready to swallow the God Killer whole. And with a teeth-clattering chomp with vigor, the beastly head would slam down its teeth and seemingly actually succeed in eating the Saiyan with no sign of Vegito in the panel anymore. That was damn close! What a strange ability! But our hero had escaped worse before, and though skidding across the ground elsewhere in panic mode, he would manage to escape the clutches of his opponent in the nick of time. Wait, what's this now? But just as he would come to a stop, looking to his right, it would seem the danger was only just beginning. How is he doing this? As now coming at him already would be another oversized extremity, hurtling towards him at full pace, this time being a giant hand. And with the speed and velocity being so unexpectedly fast, the God Killer would barely be able to turn his head around until... with a seismic smack, almost as loud as Zeus's smack on Akabel, the giant hand would make full impact with Vegito, battering his entire body with a swipe, sending the God Killer perilously backwards immediately. But as Vegito would move backwards, he would be quick to flip acrobatically several times, before eventually regaining himself high in the air, grumbling with his shuddering body. Instant body gigantification! I haven't ever seen it done like this. His speed should be slowing with such size, but he seems to be getting faster whenever he does it. But unknowing to Vegito, back with the Crimson Fighter, he wouldn't be finished with his attack, as now crashing his own left foot into the floor, something else was coming for the God Killer. What's that noise? As soon enough, Vegito would begin hearing the rumblings of something approaching, but not from the sky or in his open air vicinity, but strangely from the ground itself, as it would begin shaking. What the? As much to the Saiyan's surprise, that same foot his opponent had thrust into the ground at normal size would then suddenly explode from the floor like a dormant beast, as a completely oversized foot ready to obliterate the warrior from below would appear, the God Killer looking like an ant under its sheer size. And obliterate it would, as booting Vegito like you'd been hit with a Spartan kick to end all Spartan kicks, the God Killer would immediately be sent flying high into the sky. His body sent with such speed, his gums would begin separating and showing themselves from the G-force of his movement speed alone, unable to do a thing but mutter in annoyance. This guy is starting to annoy me now. This ability, it should be mine. If only I didn't need him for this damn tournament. And as time would pass, Vegito would soon reach past even the clowns themselves. But enough would soon be enough. Fine! This one has proven himself. It's time to end this spar. As with his teeth gritted in anger, he would look back and then... closing his eyes from one side to the next, his body and form would begin changing to a familiar sight. As just like that, the legendary God Killer would enter his most famous state, as Ultra Vegito would reveal himself in his mixed Ultra Ego and Ultra Instinct form. And with those time rings on his right hand, it would be like looking straight into the past. And with a cold stare downwards, now completely at ease, Vegito would just proclaim, "The real battle begins now, kid. Let's see how you match up to this." As with extreme speed, a complete shift to how he was fighting before. Like a flaming spear, Vegito would then shoot straight down. Soon, from a distance being seen as aiming straight for the giant foot on the ground. Eventually slamming a singular fist right into its heel, which would leave it shuddering on impact, almost paralyzed from moving anymore. Before quickly moving on forward, straight for the source. Now on track completely for his big-eared opponent in the distance. Surprising him, as with his new level of speed, the creature wouldn't even have enough time to remove his leg before the God Killer was now right at his face already. And for the first time, we'd hear a cry of pain from Vegito's foe, as with nearly zero effort and instantly getting through, Ultra Vegito would slam his fist right onto the beast's cheek, stunning him immediately. But as he would stumble back, it would seem he would already be thinking of his next move, as from his backside, strange black extremities would begin sprouting. As from the warrior, we would then see two devil wings sprout immediately from his backside. And still with his silent self, there would be a new sense of confidence for the fighter with these wings activated. His power and speed seemingly increased as a result. But regardless, his first action would look like a retreat, flying high into the sky in a powerful red aura. But watching below with a smile, Vegito would be there commenting, "Wings, huh? Guess you have no idea who you're dealing with." As just like that, Vegito too would reveal his own pair of white angel wings, normally seen accompanied with a seraphim transformation, but now combined with his ultra form instead. Come back here! And with that, the God Killer would give chase with even more speed than before. Noticed immediately by the red creature, who by all accounts does seem to have been trying to leave this battle. But with Vegito already at his side and closing in fast, his plans would need to change. And the closing in would soon change to completely eclipsing his speed, as Vegito would fly past him and circle round to face him head on. The both of them now forced to pull their fists back, each surrounded in their ki, ready to clash. And finally, that clash would occur with full force, as on the instant their fists would make impact, a giant explosion of energy would be the result. virtually vaporizing the already destroyed landscape as they would both let out all their strength. But in the aftermath, both would remain, separated by the force of their collision, one in the air and one on the ground. As Vegito, enjoying the brief skirmish, would comment, "What's this? It seems like you have something to finally say, friend. That's quite some power you have. But I'm sure you're smart enough to know when you're completely outclassed." As finally, the red beast would let out in response, "You are a surprise. I never thought the mortal realm could possess beings with power like yours. But I am not convinced you are mortal. There is something robotic about you. You too feel like an android." And with that unknowingly actually accurate assumption, with his right arm extended out, the demon-like warrior would begin generating in his palm a giant ball of fearsome fiery energy, ready to be thrown until with a single beam shot, it would be eradicated before the foe's eyes, before it could even be thrown. Careful there. You might be closer to the truth than you think. But don't think for a second you can treat me like those other androids. As the God Killer would then be seen at the other end with a still smoking finger from clearly him being responsible for the earlier shot. You are all the same. What? But the confident streak would soon be broken when the warrior would appear right behind Vegito, his speed taking a drastic change, surprising the Saiyan. But unfortunately, the beastly foe would be naive to think Vegito was ever the opponent to not have the last laugh, as the instant he would slam his knee into what he thought would be the God Killer's back, Vegito's angel wings would wrap around immediately to make a makeshift defense. I told you, I'm not the same. But not giving up, the beast would have use for his own devil wings also, grabbing at their base before he would separate them entirely. And like a primitive caveman, immediately he would start using his wings to slam non-stop onto Vegito's angelic shield. Continuing on for what feels like minutes, not letting up at all. But unfortunately, neither would Vegito's feathery defense. Regardless though, in the distance, as the two immovable forces would be engaged in a battle of wills, a small crack would appear on the ground. And scarily as the hole would increase, an eye and hand would emerge until peekaboo! Surprisingly, Vegito himself would emerge stealthily, either as a clone or literally having left the wing defense there secretly and unknowingly to the warrior. Fool! But regardless, now at the warrior's backside as he would continue to attack nonsensically, the God Killer would begin moving forward with speed with his arms outstretched. But as such a dark presence would come closer, eventually the foe would realize, darting his eyes backwards. Having fun! But by the time the warrior would turn around fully, the wing defense would collapse on itself. Vegito would now be inbound with 2 giant energy attacks on either hand on both sides, looking almost like mini planets with an orbital ring each. I hate these tricks! But the monster's reaction would be simple enough, bulking his body up larger and larger, until as Vegito would approach dual energy attack, the warrior would move forward and... in a flash, the God Killer would find both sides of him covered by huge waves of flesh, rushing forward with speed. What did you... Instantly now having his 2 beam attacks being snatched straight out of his hands, as with the foe's arms immediately amplified to 5 times the size of Vegito himself, the God Killer would be left careering forward, robbed blindly in daylight. But finally now able to land his knee, as Vegito would move forward, the red-eyed warrior would use this opportunity to break his forward momentum, slamming his attack straight onto Vegito's torso. Sending the fused warrior back, but only to skid across the ground by his hands and feet, while simultaneously the giant Piccolo-like fighter would flip back for some distance. But regaining himself and recovering from the damage, Vegito couldn't help but be partially impressed, commenting, "So, he can keep up with me in this form after all. Not bad at all." But more shocks would be coming, as once again he would find his body covered in a dark shadow that should not be there. As with the same inexplicably blinding speed, his opponent's giant fist would be seen soaring right at him, the size alone making it near impossible to dodge in any direction at all. But despite it being near impossible, you would expect Vegito to at least attempt some movement. But as the fist would now reach within touching distance of his face, strangely, the God Killer would remain flat-footed, just muttering, "You know what? I forgot I can do something like this too." As unbelievably, the beast's fist would then suddenly be stopped, but not by Vegito physically, but by another giant hand coming out of nowhere to grab it tight. But not just any hand, but one that seems to be made by energy itself. It's crazy how many things I can do. I need a little refresher. What is this? As arising out of the ground now would be the legendary perfected Ultra Instinct Giant form, first used by Son Goku in the original Dragon Ball Super, then taken on by Ultra Vegito himself briefly in his execution of the Gods of Destruction. Like a dormant mystical creature that had been sleeping for decades, it would explode from the ground, made from Vegito's energy alone, slowly pushing down and back on the warrior's arm. And once completely standing, Vegito's opponent would be dwarfed, his gigantic arm appearing as nothing special anymore. This is... But seeing such a sight, it would at least finally make him rethink his earlier suspicions, muttering in fear, You are no android. This power, you remind me of the devil. I cannot leave anything left to chance. Not with this one. As suddenly gritting his teeth, the warrior's body would start flexing and pumping yet again, bolstering every last morsel of energy he has left. As with a horrendous deep roar now coming out of his mouth, it would no longer just be one part nor extremity of the beast becoming overgrown, but now his entire body becoming a giant itself, immediately gigantified to now match the height and size of Vegito's energy apparition. Toe to toe, the skirmish would shift to a battle of titans. Both fighters now screaming their hearts out, veins pulsating all over the red beast's face, while Vegito, encapsulated in his giant apparition, would amplify his voice through it. The two screaming because of their now deadlock in each other's arms, hand in hand, as the two skyscraper-sized fighters would stare deep into each other's fighting soul and spirit. But it would be in this brief moment together that the two would finally get to know something about one another, as a gritted teeth Vegito would grumble, "In this universe, are you the strongest here? How did you manage to get power like this in the first place? I'm nowhere near at my limit. But if you only knew what I had to do even to get this strong, there is definitely something special about you. Tell me, what is your name?" With the equally gritted teeth warrior responding, "My name is Goro. I wouldn't know. I just got here. I was summoned by these androids of this planet using their so-called advanced technologies. Seems they had a fascination with the occult and wanted to summon a demon. And a demon from the demon realm is just what they got. Sometimes you should be careful what you wish for." At which point Vegito would respond, "So even toasters can get too curious for their own good. You were released, and the first thing you thought to do was wipe them out. Now, I can't tell who's worse. But you seem so familiar. You remind me so much of a friend of mine called Piccolo. Are you Namekian?" Which Goro would just reply in confusion, "Piccolo? No, I don't know what a Namekian is. My people are known as the Dorag. We come from planet Doro. But our origins are from the demon realm. So when I died long ago, this is where I returned. For centuries, I have awaited a time to return home. The Dorags can live for thousands of years. So even now, my family are waiting. I dreamed the day would come, but never did I think it would be like this. I destroyed these androids as they were not satisfied with just one demon being released. They wanted all of the demon realm to enter here. I could not allow it. So I stopped them here and now before all life was destroyed. I have no reason to fight you now. Now that I know you are nothing like them, We can stop this! Stop this!
But such words would honestly just fall on deaf ears when it came to the God Killer, who with a nonchalant smirk would just let out,
Origins in the demon realm. Just like the Namekians. You are some kind of overpowered Piccolo variant as I thought. You will serve finely in my team. Your intelligence and techniques will make up for any lapse in power. I'm sorry to hear about your long wait to see your family. Trust me, I can relate. But I'm afraid, unless you can beat me here, you still have some time to go, Goro.
But with Vegito's refusal to back down, both the God Killer and the revealed demon from the demon realm would be forced to increase their power levels even further. The energy surrounding their two Titan-sized bodies, swirling around, destroying everything around them on the now desolate planet. But with their energies rising so fast, and no need to care for the surroundings anymore, both would eventually be coated in the light of their own energies lost in it, their faces just white outlines, until their whole bodies would now be the same, becoming energy itself before what was once a quiet, undisturbed planet seen in the reaches of space would then be turned to complete dust, as the entire planet would just explode inevitably from this stalemate between the two. In the aftermath, only bits of debris and planetary mess would be seen, but among them, one debilitated and no longer moving Dorag, his body floating. But at the corner of his eye, even Goro would notice.
What happened? I haven't been pushed to use that much energy in so long. I must have overdone it and taken him with me. At last, I can see my daughter. You're not seeing anyone just yet, big man. What?
But unfortunately for Goro, up above, like a god, a voice would talk to him. As right on top of him, with his foot already risen above Goro's body, Vegito would be all smiles, and with no damage like had been inflicted all over Goro, as he would let out,
I told you, you're going to be a fine asset in my team. So until that job is done, you're not finished with me yet.
As brashly, Vegito would then stamp his foot down, kicking Goro quickly down below.
What is that?
The Red Warrior's body sent soaring through space, as behind him he would notice the opening of a white portal now, which ultimately, like a black hole, would swallow him out from this realm and into the realm of the Elder Gods. But interestingly, at the very same time, a white portal would also open behind Vegito too, and out from it, the assassin Hit would emerge, not saying a word, as Vegito would just coldly ask,
Well, if it isn't Chronoa's bellboy, what is it, Hit? Got another time scroll for me?
And with that, Hit would indeed throw another of Chronoa's timelines locked within a scroll right at Vegito, grabbed immediately within the Saiyan's hands. And it would be at this point it would let out, "This one wasn't picked by Chronoa. This one was picked by me, just like you asked." Good hit. Thanks in advance for keeping this tight-lipped. As with a strangely devious smirk and his eyes suddenly glowing a violent red, the God Killer would be surprisingly upbeat about this next foray into Chronoa's strange multiverse. Pathetic. But as all this would be going on, Hera, the original creator of Vegito himself, seemingly couldn't help but keep a watchful eye on him, watching through a screen in a peculiar realm, as he would soon comment, "A weakling like that is what Chronoa is capable of? How embarrassing these other elder gods really are." Before he would then begin walking forward, and as he would do so, continue, "As I said before, based on creations, this tournament is already mine to win. Those two think they've taken the pinnacle of my creations, but little can their feeble minds realize. Due to Chronoa's timelines, I have far greater options available. The blueprint is already drawn for me. God Killers. For whatever reason, my multiverse seems to have sprouted countless of them. All of them just as strong as that Vegito kid, and just as capable of handling that Lucif." As Hera would then turn his head with a smile and say, "Isn't that right, boys?" As unbelievably, Hera's words would be no bluff at all, as somehow getting more members instantly before any of the other elder gods in a fraction of the time. 6 Saiyan warriors, all seemingly God Killers, would be visible. God Killer Goku, God Killer Gohan, God Killer Vegeta, God Killer Broly, God Killer Viku, and God Killer Gogeta would all be there, with the notable exceptions of God Killer Vegito and Trunks, the strongest variants of the Saiyans ever. The cards just seem to stack higher and higher against our hero.
But that was it for today's video, guys, and if you made it this far, leave me a hashtag GodKillers in the comments down below and let me know just what's happening in this preview. Or just find out what happens right now on my Patreon, where you can see the full next video, fully voice acted, soundtracked, and edited for you to enjoy, with over 4,500 plus other fans, as well as getting access to 250 plus other fan mangas too. It's the deal of the century.